Hello, this is Donna Tushoff or Donna T Crafting on the socials, and I'm here today to make a couple of cards with Pixie Dust Designs. We're going to be using a product from the new release for June 2026. This product is a die and stamp set called Walk by Faith. It has this really cool shoe and some floral pieces with it, as well as a small stamp set. I've gone ahead and cut out a couple of shoes here, and the first thing I'm doing is for the sole of the shoe, the white part that comes up from the sole, I am just adding just a touch of brown ink to that so it looks a little worn. I didn't want my shoes to be stark white clean because I think these types of shoes are worn quite a bit, so I wanted it to have just a little bit of color so that it looks like it has been worn. Now this is going to be my black shoe. As you can see, I've cut out the black pieces. I have the two little strips that will go onto this white piece, this sole piece, to give it an outline. So it has a long piece that goes along the top. And when I do my second one, I'll put that on last actually, but I put it on first here. It really doesn't matter. And then there's a shorter thin strip that also goes on the shoe along the back. So just gluing those down and adhering them in place. Then we'll start to assemble the rest of the shoe. For the rest of the shoe, there are a few different pieces and parts, so we just have to make sure we get the right pieces and parts and put them on in the order that they belong. These are the shoelaces, these little white pieces. There's actually several pieces. This is the long part of the shoelaces. There's a couple other pieces that can be added that I'm not going to use on my shoes, but I'm just going to use these long pieces here. Now again, I'm just giving it a little bit of color so they don't look like they're brand new shoelaces. They just have a little color to them. And then I'm going to start putting the pieces of this shoe together. And I like to lay it out first to make sure I know where everything's going and which order that they go in, so I don't have the tongue of the shoe on top of the outside part. That would be not exactly the look that I would be looking for my shoe. So just making sure that every piece is in place. There is this little tiny piece at the very top that's supposed to be the inside of the shoe, and you could make it a different color if you wanted the inside of the shoe a different color. In my case, for the black shoe, I did not. When you see the other shoe, it will have a little bit of different coloring for it though. As I've assembled this shoe, I have the silver little lace pieces that I have put on there and the little air vents at the bottom that I cut in silver. And then I also have the circle with the star on the side that I put in place. I just colored the star with some markers. But I'm adding these little silver pieces so that the laces can look like they're going through those silver pieces. So when I put this set of laces down, I added some glue to them. I attached them just as if they were going through those laces. I think it looks really cool. Just a very clever way of doing that. So looks really cool. And then I can add the bottom part of my shoe that I assembled earlier. And there we have our black shoe. Now I'm going to go ahead and make my other shoe since I'm on a roll with these shoes. For this shoe, I cut everything in white, and I'm going to make a tie-dye shoe. So I'm just going to take the different pieces and add random areas of color. I started with a kind of bright pink that I'm adding just in random areas to the different parts of the shoe. Some of them will get covered up, and that's okay. I just went ahead and added color to it all, and then I can assemble it and I don't have to worry about if I have color on it or not. So once I have the pink on, I have decided my next color is going to be a little bit of a tealish color. So I'm going to add that in random spots on the shoe. Again, on each of the different pieces that I have cut in the white cardstock. No rhyme or reason to where I'm putting these different colors, just adding them so that they are in a varied place on each part of the shoe. The next color that I'm going to add to my tie-dye shoe is going to be a little bit of a purple. I love purple and pink and teal together, so I'm going to add some purple to our fancy tie-dye shoe in some random places. Left enough spots on the rest of the shoe that I can do at least one more color. May have to come back and fill in some of the different colors, but just leaving enough so that we can add one more color to this shoe as well. Once I have the purple done, I'll move on to the next color, which this color is going to be a blue, more of a royal blue for this. And again, just adding it in random spots. You could do this in just a couple of colors, and you could pick any color to do this with, just whatever color shoes you would want to do. And I just decided I thought it'd be fun to do a tie-dye shoe for this one. And I've left even a little bit of room for a fifth color. So I'm going to have 5 colors on my shoe. And in this case, I'm going to come back with a little bit of a brighter green to add into this. So I'm adding in a bright green color as my last color on my shoe. Again, I'm not worrying too much. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just to make sure that there's color on the shoe. And then when I put it together, you'll see it just kind of blends itself together pretty nicely. So there I've got all the pieces. This is that little back piece that I talked about earlier. That's the inside of the shoe, and I just made it teal in this case. So now I'm going to assemble this shoe. I used, again, the white circle, and I made a pink star on it. I added all my silver pieces and added all the other pieces in place. I think the shoe turned out really cool as the tie-dye part. So I'm adding my bottom of my shoe, the white sole piece. And you can see I don't have the long black piece on it yet. I'm going to do that last this time. Doesn't really matter what order you do it. I just happened to do it last on this one. Excuse my head for having to look over it so that I make sure I can get it lined up correctly. I added the laces, and there are my 2 shoes that I made for this card. So from the first, actually there's 2 cards. For the first card, I am using this tie-dye shoe. I pulled out the vintage lace die and cut one of those in some cream colored glitter stock. I cut it into 2 pieces, put some of it on the top and some on the bottom. I stamped and embossed the Walk in Faith and assembled this all on top of a background that I made with the Elegant Lattice background and some Distress Spritz spray. For my second card, I am going to use the damask background die, and I cut that in a bright pink glitter stock. I am going to put that on a white card base, so white is going to be the background for this. So I'm just going to glue this onto my white card base. As I'm getting this in place, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. There's always lots of inspiration from Pixie Dust Designs, and they have some wonderful products that I hope you will check out. I have a link to the products I use in the description to this video, so be sure to check them out. So I have my pink glitter stock background in place. I am going to use this to add my black and white shoe that I created earlier, but I'm going to add some of the florals that came with the die set. Now I cut pink of the tiny little florals, and I glued those behind these purple ones, so they're just peeking out. You can barely see them in the video. I do apologize. But I'm going to put these in there along with some leaves and some other greenery so that all of that is coming out of this shoe. So I'm just going to start gluing in some of these pieces. I am going to just tear off some bottoms of some of these stems because I don't need them quite that long. So instead of adding more bulk behind the shoe, I just rip off those pieces, and it doesn't matter what they look like. So I don't even bother with the scissors and just rip it off. So I'm going to start putting in these pretty purple little flowers. See the little pink, you can see the pink there, and then that goes on top of the green part of the stem, but there is that little bit of pink that is sticking out of each of those. There are some additional florals in this die set, but I just chose to use this style only. And then I am adding some leaves, and then there's these pieces of greenery that I wanted to add in as well. So I'm going to glue a few of those little pieces of greenery into the arrangement as well. I am going to just add a general sentiment to this card instead of using the Walk by Faith sentiment that comes with the stamp set. It's just because I am always needing birthday cards, so I use a lot of happy birthday sentiments. So it's easier for me just to go ahead and add happy birthday sentiments to some of my cards instead of the other sentiments that may have come with the stamp set. It varies, and each person has their different needs on sentiments for stamps. There are different sizes of this greenery. Some are taller, some are shorter, so I'm making sure I vary the levels of some of this greenery, and I do have some shorter pieces and some longer pieces. There are some leaves that are kind of flipped or turned over a little bit, which is kind of a different look and makes for an interesting look with the leaves as well. Once I have all of my greenery and florals in place, I'm going to add my shoe on top, and then we'll just add the sentiment. And I never know when to stop. I just keep wanting to add more. It's always fun to add these florals, and I like to have lots of them, so I am going to have one little piece sticking out here that I didn't have before, so I want to add that in as well. That little greenery added a little more popping out of the shoe. And then let me see if I want to add another flower as well. Like I said, I just want to keep adding and adding. I think it's wonderful to have big, full flowers, but sometimes it's nice to have less as well. I picked pink and purple because those are my favorite colors, as I said before. So I thought the purple flowers would look really nice with this pink background. So that's why I picked the pink and purple, and then with the black shoe, it really kind of offsets that pink and purple that I picked for the flowers in the background. There are a lot of things you can do with this shoe die set. I can imagine a couple of shoes on here walking. Maybe I think about doing a card like that next. I just haven't got around to it yet, but I think that would be a lot of fun as well. So here as my finished card, as I'm putting on my sentiment, as you can see, I added quite a bit of greenery in there, and I'm adding my happy birthday. And I got out a T-ruler just to make sure that I got it straight. And there you have my finished second card with the shoes. This is the Walk by Faith set with the shoes and the stamp, and here are both cards. I hope you have enjoyed. Make sure you continue to watch the Pixie Dust Designs videos, and with that, have a wonderful day and happy crafting.